Oh, it's another episode. Battery exhausted, she says. I'm fucking exhausted. That was a weird intro, wasn't it? Apologies, I've got a bit of energy. I haven't filmed for quite a while, apart from the other day when I had the old grey guitarist here. Now that is fucking hard work, that's all I'm going to say. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 2 of my version of the Buckethead guitar. My version, all right? Not your version, not Mr. Buckethead's version, mine. I know I've got a KFC bucket up there, oh, you can't actually see it. But anyway, we're making some changes. I'm going to do some things a little bit differently today because I'll do things the same all the time. We're going to take this neck blank. I've been reading about how you should lay out your videos. I'm going to take this neck blank in this episode up to a point where we are radiused and we've got fret slots cut and we've got some inlays. The inlays are going to be a bit unusual in the fact that the original Buckethead has not got any. So I've come up with a little cheeky idea. My neck blank is there. We're going to be running through fundamentals, right? Which means it's going to be not fun. That's the irony of that. I've got a nice busy, this is B grade ebony, right? Now, I fucking love a bit of B grade. That has got attitude, balls. It's got stuff going on, isn't it? It's not plain, black, boring, mundane. I like them. I've mentioned it now, so they're probably triple in price on eBay. Here's my neck blank. I have, as always, tickled it. It is dead flat. Woo! It's the flattest it could possibly be. This has now been made, manufactured for weeks on end, sat around. It's very light, queef light. So we've got that, we've got our fretboard, we've got to do bits to that, we've got our neck template. It's actually a little bit short, don't tell anyone. All right, yeah, lovely. How have you been? Comment below. I've been all right. I haven't been all right. You can share it, all right? We all want to know. Bear in mind, this is the top of my neck, but I am actually going to cut it from the bottom because I'm proper hard. So all we've got to do here for the minute is just mark the front of that nut, all right? The front, the end, where the angle's going to start, all right? Stay with me. Get the old combi square on, and the only mark I need for the minute is that one. Glasses on, 15mm headstock, all right? Remember that number. There we go, look. Put that one on there. Transfer a little mark. Alright, I lied. We needed another little mark on there, didn't we? Marvellous. Now, here's a little cheeky treat. This is a fancy marker. I think you can get these on Crimson, right? They're very posh. And you can use that to just mark along the bottom there, that 15mm line. Alright, look at that little fucking tickler. Now, I would normally, at this point, take it over to the chop saw and cut that off, because that's why I bought a big one, right? Because I'm making up for other shortcomings. However, is my microphone working? Testing, testing. 48mm. It's working, it's fine. I've recorded some stuff recently and realised that it wasn't working because the light for my microphone receivers on the back didn't fucking figure it out, did I? Twat. So I would normally cut that on L Chopperson. I'm not going to. I'm going to do it on the bandsaw, right? Big chop saws, not everyone's got one. Bandsaws, not everyone's got one. This is 100mm. 100, which is a pretty standard size. Need a bit more for a fender, believe it or not. Spat a bit then, in anticipation. I'm going to cut that with the bandsaw, and then I'm going to come in manually with the planer. I'm going to tickle that. I'm going to get it. Shia LaBeouf. Let's do that, shall we? We'll speed up the bandsaw bit, and then we'll talk as I use the manual tools, and you can zoom in for the bead of sweat on my forehead. Like I've got an edition of Hustler on the go. Come on, Dave, you fat fuck. We'll go all cinematic. Now, I've got me bench dogs on here, which I hardly ever use, I've got to be honest. But we're going to pop that on there. I've stayed away from the line, all right? A bit like Trevor in schools. I've stayed away, just to be on the safe side. On that side, I've tickled a little bit too close. Not the end of the world, though. So we'll stick him right on the end. I'll zoom out so you can get all pornographic. And I'm just going to go down there with me planer and get it nice. Happy with that? If we've got your nice shavings, you happy with that? Look at them, look, fucking designer shavings. It's like Kim Kardashian's mott. It's like a ginger man shaved his bollocks. Looked like he had a lovely nether veneer. Now, we're talking shit again. So now all I've done that, right? That's actually a nicer way of doing it than that, to be fair. Don't know why I bought the big chop saws off me fucking head. Perfectly good one at home. I'm going to transfer that mark around now I haven't fucked that up. Both sides. Remember to go from your datum face. Remember Mr. Churchward teaching me that at college many years ago. From your datum face and your datum edge. He was very Janner. Cut the word. Gentleman. Anyway, I'm doing gym impressions now. Now I can line up that one. Centre line, centre line. Yeah, it's not fucking hard, is it? Now I'm just going to eye that in and make sure it's central. But I am going to clamp it down before I drill a hole, right? Because I've learned. The only time that speed clamps are allowed in the manufacturing of guitars. Now I've got that clamped, I'm just going to visually, so I don't take my eye out, I'm just going to eye that down, that line, and me centre line, right, because you can't cheat. And I'm going to make sure that I'm happy with where they're sitting. Because if your headstock's wonky on your centre line, you're going to look like a kipper, aren't you? And remember, gents, short screws. Now, if you look at this, look, even though I've screwed that down, I can still move that. You can still make yourself a banana if you're not careful. Don't make yourself a banana. Make sure that's nice and relaxed in the middle. You watching, Dave? And I'm just going to pop that one in very gently. If you put a wonky one in there, you're going to make yourself a banana neck, all right? And you don't want to be doing that. If anyone's wondering, these are 3/4 inch 8s. Lovely and straight, all right? Now I've screwed that down. That looks like it's a lot of work, doesn't it? It looks like it's a lot of work. I'm going to go round with me Le Permanentes. The definitive neck-making guide by the albino twats. It's hell of exciting, isn't it? Alright, we're using this as a guide, so you want lots of screws so that it can't wobble on you. Anyway, speedy up, I've got to change the route a bit, so I'll kill the cameras. We'll do a little, yeah. Do you know? Right, I'm trying to include all the stages so that you get an idea of what I'm thinking now. Now, when you run things through the router, invariably, you get a bit of chatter. You can see it on there. Just get a little bit of chatter. First things first, keep your offcuts, all right? Mine go in this cupboard, right? This is a cupboard of shite. And they go down there, look. And I'll save them and I'll make some chopping boards or some stuff. I made some a while back, right? Custom chopping boards. I'll turn them into a bit of cash. And I go towards buying shit for my workshop. Right, next stage, I just want to make sure that that's nice and flat. So we're going to go over to my beautiful planer thicknesser. You can use a bit of granite. You can use your kitchen worktops for all I fucking care. And we're just going to give this a good tickle with a sandpaper and make sure it's nice and straight and flat. I'll show you. Ready? I've got a reel of 80 grit sandpaper that I always keep. And all I'm going to do is make sure get that edge nice and tickle it, right? That is not complicated, all right? Make sure the neck you use is bone dry. Here's a funny story for you, because I like to, an anecdote, shall we? Oh, seeping a noose. I haven't changed my sign. I've got down there, I won't show you because it's going to be in a video. I've got the 5th guitar I ever made, all right? It is fraught with things that I do not do the same way now. I'm going to do a video looking at it and going, holy fuck, how far have I come, right? Because it actually plays really nicely, but there's lots of things on there I don't do now, and I'm going to point them all out in a video. One of the mistakes I made was buying timber locally from a yacht builder, someone who made yacht masts, right? And I bought air-dried mahogany. That thing's got the worst fret sprout I've ever felt in my life, all right? Phil would not put his fucking hooves anywhere near that. This is bone dry, all right? It's crazy dry bit of wood in that neck. It is not going to fret sprout. You could send that to the Sahara in a toga and it would not sprout, all right? So that's going to be fine. Let's get a truss rod done. Oh, get your nut out. Get your nut. All right, my nuts are always from Geiker, 43mm, 4369 is the code on it. Lovely, even if you've got a 42.5mm neck, but you want a bit of room, a bit of wiggle, all right? They come in a Johnny packet, can't go wrong. Geiker nuts for the win. So we need to know how thick your nut is. I went extra Janner there, didn't I? Sorry. How thick is your nut? Now you might be wondering, oh, what about make these neck templates, blah, 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 blah. You can get my template sets online, and I'll let you know that pretty much every neck I make is the same dimensions as a Revstar neck because it's my favourite profile. I don't like Gibson necks. I definitely don't do the Gibson profile on the back. Fucking hate it. More Revstar, which is... A Revstar is like a slightly chunkier Strat. All right, Strat's a 42mm nut. Widen everything up a little bit. It just gives you the little woo chef's kiss. All right, right on the testes. So that is not a Gibson neck. Right? Gibsons are actually wider this way. Right, that's why they feel extra fucking huge. Not my cup of tea. Don't like it. Right, so now we know that that is the dimension there. Right, we can add some stuff on. We can figure out there that that is where my truss rod's going to finish. So I can see, can we use the super duper long truss rod, and it's just going to be shy of the nut. That's what we want. You don't want the truss rod under the nut because that's wank. Sometimes you've got to use a shorter one for Gibson, especially if you're old-fashioned Gibson 24.625 inches. That'd be too much. And also, if you're making a 21, crucially, I don't make 21 fret guitars anymore because I don't see the fucking point. Mine are all 22 frets, and that means when you make a 22 fret Gibson neck, you can use the standard longer truss rod. It's flowing out of me today like I've got fucking dysentery. Beautiful. So we're going to set this up now. I'm going to cut a truss rod channel, the chutney of doom, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about fretboards. Because, my God, I'm going to get you over the line today. Go and get the Kleenex, Trevor. It's getting serious. In fact, I'm not going to talk about that. We'll just speedy up here. We'll talk fretboards is way more... Right, and we're back on, right? We can see, if I pop that one out, I'll show you this one because it's actually in the middle for a change. You can see, look, I'm right inside my little cheeky channels. Everything's looking very good. Tickety-boo, tasty. I knew it was going to be a close-up. That one fits in there nice and snug. You've got to ease the top out just to let the bulbous bit in. All right, break it in, and away we go. We're just a smidgen below the surface, so I'm happy with that. Truss rod's working, look, he's functioning. You ever wondered how they fucking work? I had a message the other day, which is why I'm telling you about this. Paul, I think I might have put my truss rod in upside down. Will it still work? He'd used a spoke wheel truss rod, and I thought to myself, you fucking retard. How the fuck have you put that in backwards? And then I'm having to think about it. Yeah, it'll still work. I think, I mean, it's not ideal, but don't throw your neck away. That kind, at least, will still work. It'll work in reverse. I was going to spin him out and say, yeah, your guitar's going to play left-handed, though, so you have to get yourself a blue badge. He did say, please don't rinse me in the comments, so I'm not going to. It's not that silly a question, really. I'll get some absolute monumental questions. Some might say monumental. Let's put that on the board. There, beautiful. And so the meaning of that is when your mate Trevor, who's thick as shit, has actually achieved something worth talking about at the pub, you say, Trevor, fuck me, that's monumental. Oh, I'm a little bit pleased with that one. I'll probably get fucking banned from life. Yup! Here's me fretboard. It's got a bit of a wonk to it. It's chunky. It's like Mrs. Richards' thighs. It's chunky, right? We've got to flatten him out on the good side, and then I'm going to run it through the sander, and I'm going to get it nice and parallel, basically, because I can't be bothered to transform Optimus, Des Nielsen over there, to do a thickness on that. So let's go over on the thicknesser, and I'll show you how I do thicknessing. Follow me. Like a tour guide with a fucking flag. Here's the thicknesser, here's Des Nielsen. So we're going to run through, whoa, because you can see there, look, she's rocking all over the shop. Right, she's lovely and co-planar now. Co-planar? Flat, Paul. Stop trying to be fucking clever. Now we'll run it through here. I've got my ears in, which is why I sound funny. Cinematic as you like. Now that is lovely now. Straighter than my willy, which is actually tough to achieve. The thing is like a fucking lightning rod. Now, here's our fretboard. I'm going to mark that out. I want the darker bit. I'm going to leave the little blonde bit out. I'm going to use a white pencil. It's a Chinagraph pencil, if you're wondering. It's a bit like a crayon, but less edible. Marvellous. Cut this out roughly on the bandsaw. Oh, honestly, it's like being at the movies. Now, the best thing about the old Chinagraph, as long as I had a bit of a speed wobble there, because I was being a little bit silly. But the best thing about that is you've got plenty of room. As long as the white line's left on there. I'll see you tomorrow, because I'm going to glue this on now and I'm going to fucking leave it for overnighters. I'll be in on the Saturday, we'll get this radius and we'll get some inlays done. I think that's a good plan.
Early the next morning.
Right, we're going to get a little bit educational, because fuck it, you've got to learn something, ain't you? Dave, you're a little bit too close. Get back, Dave. This is Gigas Maximus. You've all seen Gigas Maximus before. It's interesting, isn't it? Here's your scale ruler from Crimson. And I use this in conjunction with my Makita chop saw, and which used to build houses and kitchens and stuff. And I use it in conjunction with a radiusdish.co.uk, not affiliated, fret cutting slot saw sort of thing. I always muddle that up. I don't know why. Oh, actually, I do know why. Because I'm a fucking idiot. 0.55 millimeters. Absolutely fucking beautiful. Now, this is super fast. Zing, zing, zing. But that means you can fuck it up super fast. And I'm going to help you. I think this is a phenomenal way to do it, right? Lots of people have got a chop saw. Don't use a shit one with monumental amounts of play in it, because it won't be a good day. That's about 60 quid. These are about 60 quid each. It costs less than the saw and the jig and all that sort of stuff to do it by hand. I will also say, at this point, if you do want to make a guitar and you get yourself a pre-slotted, pre-radius fretboard, I'm not going to judge a man for that. It's a lot of toolage. It's a lot of toolage to do all that sort of stuff. So just like when someone first starts going, they buy a neck or they get a neck of a donor guitar and they make a body, and you just levels, in it. It's levels. You're not a luthier till you've made a neck, and according to some cunts on the internet, you're still not a luthier because you haven't made acoustic. So one day I've been offered acoustic building classes. Let me know if you think I should go and do an acoustic building class at Crimson. It will take fucking ages, but I might give it a go. Let me know in the comments. Now, we've got a pin in here, little pin. Dave, come down. Can you see the little pin there, the nubbin? And that's going to just correspond with the notch, right? But we've got some issues here. We have got some issues. That is not parallel. It's got a slopey whoopy in it. So when I put that on there, how the fuck do I know that that is correct and in the right spot? So what we've got to do is I've got to have a parallel line. Luckily, for demonstration, we've got a centre of that one. If I keep that headstock about 10 mil off the edge there and just measure that to my fence, I could go 50 mil, right? So I'm going to mark out 50 mil from my fence. Lovely jubbly. I'm going to get my big fat ruler. Right, now when I put this on, me nut, lovely jubbly, I can basically line up the centre of my neck with the centre of that line. So we'll put a little centre line on here. Lots of centering going on, isn't it? This is highly educational for you mung beans. Right, now you can see there, Dave, I'm on that centre line. That's why I've positioned this where I've positioned it. I've moved things around from how I used to do it. And then also I can line up that little centre line there. Cheeky. Now, the trick is repeatability. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to trace this line. So now I know whenever I do a Gibson neck and I've got to tape this on, that's the line I'm going to go to. You can redo this every time. If you're only making a few guitars a year, you get your acetone out, you wipe off all your permanent pen, and you just go through this process again. It's not hard, but now I know that that is repeatable. The next step is checking the saw, because that thing is crap. Chop saws for building sites are shit, even the good ones. And I'll show you why. Dave, follow me. Now, you can see here, look, if I unlock this, that's how much play I've got. Just to demonstrate that, that is monumental. It's basically the locking mechanism under there is crap. So we can't be trusting that. So we have to use something a bit better. Bit of MDF that I know is absolutely straight. Is that square? I mean, to be fair, it's a Nat's cod piece. We could probably go just a smidgen. I'm pretty happy with how square that is now. So now I know that my blade's going square and I've got my neck square. Let's bolt that on. One there, one there. I don't use tape and glue on this quite so much because it's a bit fucking finicky, and I want to just sit this down and hover it and make sure my centre lines are all good. So I'm holding this about 5mm above. I'm going to sit my centre line down on the headstock and then lower him down on that side. Lovely. All right, it's not going anywhere. That's workshop tape. It's fucking brilliant. So we've done everything we need to do to make sure it's parallel. Let's whip it through. We should be fine. So I've got the pin in nut in here. And all I'm going to do is just slide this over until it just touches the fretboard. And then I'm going to bolt that down. Lovely. I don't have to go full depth with this. I can do it with a little manual saw in a minute. And one thing that you also want to check is that your 22nd fret is nice on the end there, look, and you haven't made a fuck up with your measurements. All right, you can just double check that. Now we can just whip them through. Now that was probably just focused on my hand, wasn't it? Because Dave's a bit of a fucking prick when it comes to that little job. But that is that, all right? Our fret slots are cut. We're nice and parallel and we're straight. You don't want any wonky shonkies, all right? Because you can cut them. Oddly enough, if you do cut them and they're a little bit pissed, it's probably only you that'll ever notice, and it won't make any difference because your nut and the bridge will do the same. So it'll still intonate and be fine, but it'll piss you off wildly. Lovely. Right, now, more importantly, because when I put the radius on my fretboard, I put 2 business cards under this end, and that makes sure that when you radius it, because your fretboard's getting wider, it makes sure that this little edge stays parallel. It doesn't get thick or thin. Yeah, like your hairline, Trevor. So as you're cutting along, you can either adjust your saw and go a bit deeper every time. That's very difficult to regulate. Or I'm just going to go through with my fret saw now, and I'm just going to finish these slots off to depth. Very gently. There are also some people that believe that a fret slot should be curved so that your fret tang sits equally on it and there's not so much of a void in the middle of the fretboard because it'll affect tone. I think that's largely bollocks, but this will give you a more arched slot. Lovely, that's me slots all cut. And more importantly, I'm making sure that I'm a nice equal depth to the bottom of my fretboard there, because I'm going to fill this with a bit of venereal and we'll make that look all pretty. Sometimes you can pre-cut the venereal and do it now. Should we do it now? No, we'll do it after. I prefer to do that. Right, so I reckon that is seen us through for the episode. We've done some fret slots. I can't remember what the rest of it is, but we've done some bits and bobs. We'll come back next week. We'll do some inlay. I was hoping to get that in this episode, but I wanted to go into depth with that one because you don't want to be fucking things up. It is an amazing bit of kit. It's way quicker and simple than doing it with that and that, all right, which, because this has got to be impeccably good, all right? They don't last that long. They're not the best saws. So, yeah, that is brilliant. They're really fucking expensive. This is actually, to put that on your chop saw and use a blade, it's actually the cheaper way of doing it. But anything that involves power can monumentally cock things up very, very quickly. So thanks for watching, everyone. Special waveage and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to carry on and do some other shit now. I've got some top secret projects going on. If you watch Mondays and Fridays videos, then please comment below saying I'll watch both. And if you've got any questions, and I don't get back to you in the comment section because it gets hard, I do read them all, and that's why I've covered this. All right? I've been asked that question about that probably 6 or 7 times in the last month or so, and I thought, well, let's just get it in a video, Paul, because then at least I'll get fucking paid for it. See you later.